everybody, Sean Hatzel here with GetLean12.com, coming at you with another fat loss hype versus fat loss reality video. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly why hyped up things like protein intake and taking in extra protein all by itself can actually be making you store more fat. We're going to take the traditional food pyramid, we're going to turn it on its head, and I'm going to introduce you to the Get Lean in 12 food pyramid in 3 simple philosophies that you can use to keep your body in a fat burning environment the entire day. You can use this philosophy to raise your energy levels, and you can use this as a simple and easy lifelong approach, because most people make eating and diets and nutrition way too complicated, and the reason why is because of fat loss hype. And the reality is that if you follow the Get Lean in 12 food pyramid, then you're going to keep your body in a fat burning environment the entire day. You're going to use a strategy that you can use forever, and you're not going to have to count calories or grams or weigh any food whatsoever. Now, I discovered this over 10 years ago after 8 long years of fat loss frustration, of reading all the magazines, listening to the personal trainers and all the so-called fitness experts, and following all these textbook guidelines. I discovered the Get Lean in 12 food pyramid, completely transformed my body and cut my exercise time in half over 10 years ago, and I've been able to maintain around 8% body fat using these strategies. And I want to show you how to do it too, so pay close attention. What we have is we've taken the Get Lean in 12 food pyramid and we've turned it upside down, and we basically have down here, we have combinations. Up here we have timing, and over here we have portion control. Okay, now when you get all 3 of these things working together consistently, not perfectly, just consistently, 5 days a week, as an example, you get your best body. And if somebody tries to tell you you need to go low carb or do all protein, that is all hype. The fat loss reality is this is a long-term approach that you can use to stay lean. And we put Get Lean in 12 combinations right at the bottom for a reason. If you don't combine the right foods together when you eat, you store more fat. It's that simple. Eating and nutrition and fat loss are all about keeping blood sugar and insulin stable and low. And when you combine the wrong foods together, you can spike insulin. And an example of this is protein intake all by itself is hyped up. It's hyped up. The Get Lean in 12 fat loss reality is that protein intake all by itself spikes insulin and elevates insulin and blood sugar exactly as much as carbohydrates taken in by themselves, and for just as long, and this is proven in several different studies. So here's the key. When you combine your foods, you want to make sure that you never eat a carbohydrate or a protein by itself. You want to combine those 2 things together, and then when you combine them together, every time you sit down to feed yourself, you want to add in a fibrous veggie or not both, or a small amount of friendly fat. By adding in a small amount of friendly fat or a fibrous vegetable with the protein and carbohydrates, now blood sugar will stay stable. But if you eat protein by itself or carbs by themselves, you're going to raise blood sugar, you're going to store more fat. So there's your combinations. If this moves away, this thing falls over, so you have to have that locked in. The second one is timing. And things like fruits and starches are typically sugars to the body. And if we consume these things too late in the day, we fall victim to what's called the dreaded fat spillover. So you want to avoid eating things like fruits and sugars and starches after 3 p.m. or later in the day, so that you don't fall victim to the dreaded fat spillover. So every time that you sit down to feed yourself, you want to make sure that you're combining the right foods, you want to make sure that you're timing it the right way, so that at night, later in the day, when your metabolism slows down, you're taking some of those starches or maybe a piece of fruit and you're replacing them with fibrous vegetables or a small, that's the key word, small amount of friendly fat. Then you want to space your meals around 4 hours apart. You want to eat 4 or 5 small food meals a day. Now, if you think that pushing your meals closer together and grazing every 3 hours is a more effective approach, that's fat loss hype, because your insulin is elevated for 3 or 4 hours after a meal. Now, what ends up happening is if you feed yourself 2.5 to 3 hours later, your insulin's still elevated, you eat again, and you spike it again, so it never drops low enough to be a fat burner. So by eating too close together and eating these small frequent meals every 2.5 or 3 hours, You're actually programming your body to be more of a fat storer than a fat burner because you're not giving your insulin a chance to drop low enough to get into a fat burning environment. Lastly is portion control, and this one's the key. Every time you have a carbohydrate, it's going to be the size of your fist. Every time you have a protein, it's going to be the size of your palm, and every time you have a friendly fat, it's going to be the size of the end of your thumb. By doing this, you're going to make sure that you don't get too many calories. You see, when we get too many calories, what happens? Dreaded fat spillover syndrome. The food industry makes enough food for us to consume 4,000 calories a day. You think that might give us a clue or a hint to why so many people are overweight? So if you like the Get Lean in 12 food pyramid and you like these secrets, we put 7 more videos like this together. We want to give you free access to these videos. In the first video, there's 2 secrets that we reveal to you that are going to be key to your success. The first one is how to use our Get Lean in 12 workout chart to burn more fat in 12 short minutes than an entire hour of the long, boring, traditional type of cardio exercise. And then we also introduce you to my partner, Wendy Chant, and she teaches you about her famous 7-day diet. And some of her students have lost a ton of weight, but the key to the 7-day plan is it teaches your body how to go find and grab fat as fuel again. So if you've ever dieted before, there's a 90% chance your metabolism is radically damaged, and Wendy's 7-day plan will help you heal that damage. Now, if you're watching this on some video sharing site, all you have to do to get your hands on these free videos is just click on the link near this or go over to getleanin12.com. Punch in your name and email. We'll get you instant access to those videos. And if you're watching this on our blog and you're not a subscriber of ours, go ahead and enter your name and email and we'll get those videos over to you right away. I want to thank you guys for listening. Sean Hansel, another fat loss hype versus reality video. Have a great day.